We're live. Hello. It always still impresses me how fancy I am with intro videos, but good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you for coming to hang out on what is Boxing Day here in Australia. That probably doesn't mean much to many people, but as I mentioned, I think in last week's stream, Boxing Day is like Black Friday in the US. It's like the big sale day in Australia, and you could not pay me to go to the shops on Boxing Day. I won't do it. I absolutely won't do it. It's absolutely bedlam, and I'm not interested in that. But regardless, I hope everyone had a lovely Christmas, or if you celebrate something different or nothing at all, I hope you've had a safe and happy time. I had a little bit of an early Christmas present. I reached 4,000 subscribers, which like mind blown. I can't believe I have that many subscribers. So thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed to the channel and everyone who supports me through channel memberships or just encouragement and whatnot. I never pretend that I know what I'm doing with this channel and the content. Just having a go, just having a crack, as we like to say here in Australia. But I appreciate everyone who turns up every Friday and hangs out or watches the replay. Like, there's so many people that I feel like I've gotten to know over the past sort of 12 months through doing this stream. So I appreciate everyone who gives me a little bit of their time, whether that's on Friday or any other day that they watch the stream. I'm curious to know if it'll be a big turnout or not, because I'm assuming it's a public holiday in a lot of places. So I don't know. Do people want to watch streams on holidays? I guess we'll find out. But it was a big week of newsy news. Howie Claus has no chill. He wants your heart, mind, and wallet for Christmas because that's how he rolls. And there were some big feelings, some big reactions, and we'll talk about it. We'll also talk about figure of the year. I metaphorically phoned some friends to get some different views. So I'm quite excited to share those with you. And I'm also going to rank my figure purchases for 2025, which was really tough to do. It was really tough to do. I don't like putting something last, but something has to be last. It is what it is, right? That's what happens when you rank things. But I will see who is in the chat, who's here hanging out with me on this Boxing Day here in Australia. We've got Carlos first, as always. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Helen and chat. Sending my usual salutations from a very cold 28 Fahrenheit, New Jersey, which is expecting anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of snow. Far out. Today, I'm off work, so I will... Also, I am watching the stream live and can comment along. Oh, that's so cool. So Hot Toys released the Beetlejuice figure, and he looks amazing. I believe this one's from the second movie. What say you, Helen? For me, this is a figure... I think the comment got cut off. But look, I'm jealous of your 28 degrees Fahrenheit, New Jersey. It was 107 degrees Fahrenheit on Christmas here in Perth, 42 degrees Celsius. It was a lot. But it cooled down dramatically. I think it was only like 25 degrees today, and it rained. So go figure. That typically doesn't happen where you get such a drop. So I'm calling that a Christmas miracle. I thought Beetlejuice looked really good. Everyone was like, or a lot of people were upset, and I feel like, is it a Hot Toys announcement or release if someone's not upset about the head sculpt? Not really. But I've got some photos. We'll talk about Beetlejuice. I think it comes with an impressive amount of accessories. It is from the newer movie, which I think came out in 2024. So I feel like if you're getting this, you're getting some really cool stuff. I really like the diorama base as well that comes with it. It's really cool. We've got Toy Collector. Also, someone celebrating Boxing Day. Happy Friday / Boxing Day here in Canada. Maybe it's a Commonwealth thing. Hope you all had a great Christmas. Going to watch the replay later. Have a great stream, friends. Well, I hope you're doing well when you catch the replay. Hope you had a nice Boxing Day. AJ's here. Greetings, Helen and friends. I hope all is well. AJ, I hope you're well. I hope you and Ashley had a lovely first Christmas together, married couple. Hope it was amazing. Hope it wasn't too cold. Where you are, it's quite cold, isn't it, AJ? Cousin Anthony, Merry Christmas, everyone. Guys, Cousin Anthony gave us all an incredible Christmas gift of an amazing John Wick posing showcase. So if you haven't watched it, and you have John Wick and you like posing, you have to watch it. It's an incredible movie. I woke up this morning, I put it on my big screen TV, I had my coffee, I had cookies for breakfast because it's Boxing Day. And I watched the showcase, and the hardest part was trying to work out which poses I want to use for John Wick. But amazing showcase. So make sure you check it out on Cousin Anthony's channel, Figure Posing channel. And I've also shared the link on my Instagram as well, if you want to check that out. Austin's here. Hello, Helen. Congratulations. You deserve it. Thank you, Austin. I'm assuming that's the 4K milestone. Appreciate you coming to hang out. Our Cousin Anthony says, congrats on 4K. Well deserved. Justice for snack time with Helen. I should have brought, one of my friends gave me a delicious array of Dutch snacks. Cousin Anthony got me hooked on chocolate sprinkles this year. And it's taken me a long time to beat that addiction. And then my friend gifted me some more, as well as Specular. So I'm doomed. I'm going to eat my way into 2026. Austin says, I look forward to this conversation every Friday. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very kind. Kate Lee's here. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope Santa was good to all the collectors. Me too. I hope Santa was... Who got a figure for Christmas? Oh my God, if you got a figure for Christmas, let us know what you got. I'd love to know what people got if they got figures for Christmas. Share and share alike. We've got Natalie Harris here as well. Boxing Day, Helen from the UK. Hope you and Shuri had a lovely Christmas. Got Terminator Battle Damage 2.0. Oh wow, that's a great one. I've seen that in person at Secret Base, so that's an amazing figure. Yeah, Shuri and I we got through the hot Christmas, and today was a lot cooler. Little Shuri's doing better. She had to have a couple of teeth taken out last week, which was a bit sad because she's a pretty young cat, so she's adjusting, but she's more with it, thankfully. So yeah, we had a lovely Christmas. My mum came and stayed with us for a couple of days. It was really nice, except for the hot weather. Austin, I forgot to mention I'm from the USA, Kentucky. I have not been there, but I'm trying to think. Kentucky, University of Kentucky basketball. That's what I think of. 2 gridded head sculpts is cool on Beetlejuice. Yeah, I mean, 2 sculpts, ton of accessories. You get a standard base. You get the sort of tombstone diorama to go with it. I think that figure packs a punch. It really does. Oh, Carlos is here. My last comment was commending you on 4K subscribers. I don't know what happened. I didn't see it, so I don't know if it disappeared. But thank you. I appreciate it. Carlos is my hype man. He's always telling people to like and subscribe, and I appreciate that because I don't do that good of a job of doing that. So someone's got to help me. Thanks for the mention. You're welcome, Anthony. I really enjoyed it, and I've got no doubt I'm going to watch it again because as I was watching it, I was literally taking photos of poses that I liked. And there was a part of me that was thinking of combining the pose you had with the rifle and the knife with the I've got the Batfleck wall diorama. And I was thinking maybe I could combine them or one of the crouching poses with the wall diorama. Decisions. AJ says, thank you so much. We had a great one here. Couldn't have asked for a better one. It wasn't too bad yesterday, 40 Fahrenheit. Right now, though, we're like 30 Fahrenheit with freezing rain. Oh, goodness. Laura's here, who is not from the UK, we discovered last week. Hello, Laura. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Laura says she got spoiled this Christmas. I got the Mondo Nightcrawler and Hot Toys 5s. Was it 5s or Echo or Wolf? Because it's all the same dude, right? But that's awesome. 2 figures. That's a great haul. I don't tend to get figure things as gifts. So if other people do, I think that's awesome. I am a tiny bit jealous. Carlos says, we have to try to get you Argentinian, oh goodness, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it alfajores? I think you've mentioned these. It's a biscuit cookie with chocolate on the outside and dulce de leche, caramel on the inside. So delicious. You know what? I remember looking them up, Carlos, and I thought there was somewhere locally that sold them. And I got so excited because they weren't that far from my work. And then further investigations found that that shop had indeed closed. So I was very disappointed. But yeah, they sound amazing. I'm down for chocolate, caramel, biscuity goodness, because what a great combo. Unfortunately, I was looking for my Hot Toys Batman Returns figure, but that didn't arrive. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer. We've got 14 Wellington. Hey, happy Boxing Day. Happy Boxing Day to you too. Hope you're doing well. Keith's wife got him Doc Brown from Back to the Future too. Oh, that's cool. It would look good with the Blitzway DeLorean when it gets released next year. Oh, I know. That Blitzway DeLorean, it's coming soon, isn't it? All the fancy features. I'm so keen to see how that comes out. It had like electronic windows and stuff, didn't it? Had some very fancy features. Helen, have you seen the unboxing of the Jazz Inc. Model 89 Batman figure? Is that the seated Batman? I have not. We've got Mike here. Hey, everyone. Hope you and the rest of the chat had a great Christmas. I'm going to unbox my deluxe Wolverine to counter Boxing Day. Wow. Well, I mean, he's an Aussie. So what a great figure to unbox on Boxing Day. That's a good one. I think Deluxe Wolverine's up there. He's up there in the conversations for Figure of the Year, isn't he? I think he is. Yeah, we've got Carlos is also waiting for Batman Returns. So am I. America being delayed bums me out because it means Australia will be even more delayed. So if you guys don't have it now, I'm worried I'm not going to get it before Easter. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, the seated Batman. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a great deal of interest in the seated Batman. So no, I haven't watched any reviews of it, but if it's good, amazing. I hope people who got it are happy with it. Mike says, by the way, Helen, what did you think of Iron Logan's collection tour and being responsible for providing most of his figures? Well, that's not true. I did watch John's collection tour. It was amazing. I was a little bit embarrassed by how many times I got mentioned. I was like, oh, goodness. I got a few mentions. But yeah, no, it was an amazing collection tour. As I said, I know John spent a lot of time putting that together. And I liked that he took a bit of a different approach. I think he spent quite a bit of time talking about each figure, and we also got to see the different poses that he has. And he's another person that I definitely take photos off the screen to like steal the posing inspo for later. But yeah, I did not expect to get so many mentions. But yeah, as I say, John's bought a couple things off me. I also gave him some things that I was like, you know what? I don't even want to try to sell them. And I just kind of said, if you want these and can give them a good home, then please be my guest and take them. So yeah, but it was such a good collection tour. And I want to do my own collection tour. And now I'm like, I don't know. Do people like very detailed? Do they want something that's a bit more higher level? I don't know. So now I'm like going, oh God, I feel like there's a high bar I have to meet if I need to do a collection tour. God, if I can't enunciate my words at this stage, we're doomed. We're doomed, Shuri. Carlos says we don't have Boxing Day here in the States, but the day after Christmas is always a huge shopping day here as well. Oh, okay. Staying away from the stores myself. Yeah, I don't like shopping at the best of times, but Boxing Day is like a whole other level of crazy that I'm just not prepared to deal with to save money on a toaster or whatever people buy. I just can't do it. Cousin Anthony says Iron Logan's collection tour was a nice ride, and usually I don't even like collection tours. Yeah, it just depends. I mean, as I said, I think there's a fine balance because sometimes people's displays can be very chock-a-block, as we would say in Australia, which means very crowded. So it's hard to sometimes see, but also sometimes, like if they've got things that are custom or kitbash, like I want to know a bit more about them, and they don't always give you that detail. Whereas I thought John was really good in explaining if stuff was a bit custom, like the parts he's used to put it together. So as I said, I thought he took a really nice approach to it. But it was I on last weekend, Saturday night, I had a drink, I put it on the big screen TV. It was like watching a movie. It was so much fun. 14 Wellington says, I got to open my Christmas gift of the 6-scale Super Mad Toys Bionic Bigfoot to go with my Steve Austin Bionic Man. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Oh, that's sweet. Congrats, Helen, with your subscribers. You now have a huge family. Well, that's nice. I don't have a lot of family in Australia. There's literally just my immediate family, and then everyone else is elsewhere in the world. So it's funny because I know for some people Christmas is like big family get-togethers and whatnot, but they've always been so quiet and chilled for me, and it's not something I'm mad about. I kind of enjoy how peaceful holidays are in my world. Anyway, let's crack on. Newsy news, so much to talk about. But first and foremost, I want to give a bit of a shout out to my channel members who support me in that little bit extra, which I appreciate. So a big shout out to The Broke Collector, AJ Agrusa, Pop Culture Living Room, Kevin LaFranc, Aaron Broverman, Tijuana Mike, Keith Lee, Valkyrie Magnus, Miss Batwoman, Bob Dylan, and Blue Tattoo. Appreciate you guys. And guys, would it be a stream in 2025 if I didn't tell you not to engage with William Wang or One Man's Hobby? No, it would not be 2025 because the guy's pretty much been missing. So maybe we need to start a collector sweepstakes of, do we think William will rise from the ashes in 2026? I don't. I personally don't. I wouldn't put my money on that. But if you have put any money onto that website that's still online, please start chargeback proceedings if you're in the window, because I can guarantee you he's not coming back anytime soon, if ever, and you are not getting whatever you ordered from One Man's Hobby / William Wang. So this will stay here until that website is down, because every now and then we still see people asking about William Wang and One Man's Hobby. Don't do it. No bueno. No bueno, the old William Wang. Austin says, I can't wait to hear your top 2025 figures of the year. It's coming. It'll come after the Newsy news. The Newsy news. Goodness, wasn't this a bit of a surprise announcement from Hot Toys? The Absolute Batman, which my understanding is that this is a comic that is relatively new. So quite interesting. This is coming on the heels of the, was it the Dark Knight Returns comic Batman that came out a couple months ago? So I think, it's kind of nice to see Hot Toys doing a few different iterations of Batman, aside from repaints of some of the movie suits. I would like to see them do Batman the Animated Series, but apparently not. So this Absolute Batman, it looks like an absolute beast. And the things I have heard from people who've read the comics is that they're really enjoying the story, and they're quite excited about the fact that Hot Toys has kind of jumped on this train so early to make the figure. Carlos says, you're doing the community good by showing that One Man's Hobby to stay away from ordering them. Yeah, I mean, I still feel like not enough people have been talking about that this year. And I don't pretend to have the biggest channel, but I'm doing my best to spread the word. I'm trying. Winman 42, happy Boxing Day to all. Congratulations to our host for 4K. I will brave one shop today, then grab some lunch. You're a brave man, Winman. I saw I saw you on Points of Articulation on Costa's channel. It's lovely to. It's always so nice to see people in the community that you've conversed with and, see what they look like, hear what they sound like. So if anybody wants to see Windman, he was on Points of Articulation on Costa's channel, Pop Culture Living Room. That was really enjoyable. I had that stream on yesterday when I was doing a few things around the house, which was really cool. We've got Renz, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, Helen and chat. Reverse order. I like it. Mike says, Helen, by the way, congrats on getting to 4K. Speaking of big screen TV, I finally get to watch your stream on mine today. Since I'm off work, I actually see your collection behind you. See, this is funny. I was talking to cousin Anthony about his Wix showcase, and I said to him that that's big screen viewing. And I said to him that I feel like my stream should be phone viewing. And the thought of me being like large on someone's TV, it does kind of freak me out. Because I'm like, no one needs that. Particularly now I'm in 1080p. My goodness, thank God I'm small at the moment. But I always picture people just have me on their phone while they're doing other things. But maybe I'm wrong. Austin says, correct. Absolute Batman is a very successful comic book. Personally, I'll pass on it. Well, I mean, if you don't have a lot of comic figures, I can understand that, because I know for some people, unless you're a big Batman collector or a big comic fan, it might be a bit of a case of where do you put this and what do you display it with? But I thought it was cool. Like, it definitely has a lot of presence to it. It's got some great accessories. It's got some swap out spikes. And then there's a special edition, which has this kind of, it's got a name. What's it called? Not on that picture. I think it's some kind of like hiding cloak or something. I forget what they call it. But I do think it's cool. Again, one of those things that I think people are either going to have to get or they're going to appreciate and say it's not for me. And I definitely feel like I'm in the latter group when it comes to the absolute Batman. And this guy is a beast. Like, seriously, I've seen that Dark Knight Returns Batman a couple of times, and that's a big figure. This one is a tad over 40 centimeters. So we're edging into almost like quarter scale heights here. Like, this thing, to me, it's like, God, I think that's probably might even be bigger than things like She-Hulk and Professor Hulk. Like, this thing's it's a big boy. It's a big boy for sure. So this thing definitely is going to have a lot of shelf presence if you pick it up. I love when they include these comparisons. I don't know, the nerd in me, I like to see how things scale with each other. And as I said, it comes with a lot of accessories. So stealth look cape, that's what that thing's called. So if you get the special edition exclusive, you get the stealth look cape, and you get all, as I say, you've got some swap out spikes, you've got some interchangeable face sculpts, you've got some different weapons. The base is quite big. That does remind me of the Professor Hulk and the sort of Thanos base. It kind of reiterates how big this guy is. And you get a bunch of hands. So quite a few things coming with the older absolute Batman. Got a few comments. 14 Wellington says, I've really been enjoying collecting 12th scale figures recently and found the online sales from Japanese vendors were much better during Black Friday. The Boxing Day week sales aren't as good. It's interesting you say that, 14. A lot of people seem to be really getting into 12th scale. And I don't know why that is. Is it that they've improved? Is it space? Is it price? I'm not really sure. I haven't particularly been tempted by 12th scale, if I'm honest. Urban's here. My sister, I am here listening to you while I'm cardioing. Well, I always assume you're at the gym. So happy gymming. I am not gymming. I am eating cookies / biscuits and trying not to have a heart attack at a young age. Actually, I'm not even that young. What am I saying? I'm not living a healthy lifestyle. Ren says, haven't read any comic books, but based on the design, I kind of want it. I can understand. Sometimes it's like that. Like, I've never played any of those Spider-Man video games, but I see some of those suits and I want it. I want some of those suits because they look awesome. Austin says, from what I've heard, the absolute Batman is supposed to be a different take on Bruce Wayne being poor instead of being the rich billionaire that we know Bruce Wayne to be. Yes, I heard that. What was I listening to? Must have been on Points of Articulation on Costa's channel. They were talking about this, and that's what they were saying. It's a different Bruce Wayne, not as well to do. So it does sound like it's quite an interesting storyline. Oh, Carlos, thank you, chat. Let's all make sure we hit the like button for our different Helen. I mean, I'd appreciate it. There's like 27 people here. I don't know how many likes I have, but hopefully it's around 27. Mike says, no worries, Helen, you're coming through great on the big screen. It's refreshing as I do watch your streams, mainly on the phone as I'm at work. That's how I picture it. I know for a lot of people in the US, like the work from home crowd will just have me on the phone. So I'm kind of down with that. I'm kind of down with being a postage stamp size. 14 says, wow, size of the absolute Batman in comparison with the Dark Knight Returns version really shows how huge the figure is. It's big. I'm pretty sure She-Hulk is like 38 centimeters. So this is almost an inch taller. So yeah. Austin says it's been a boom surge in 12th scale of late. Yeah, I've noticed that. Laura says, I think there is an ease to 12th scale. Inexpensive, doesn't take up space, fun to play with, no real worrying about breaking them. If you do break them, you didn't break an expensive thing. Yeah, quite possibly. I can only think of one time I really had those kind of 12th scale, or I think they used to call them 6-inch figures. Was I really loved the TV show Arrow, and there was like no merchandise for it, and I had some action figures from the show. And then when I started to get into 6 scale and started to get some 6 scale characters, I thought they looked funny together, but I guess that's the thing. You probably wouldn't display them together. But yeah, I don't know. I can understand. I can understand that, particularly the space thing. I can understand that. Mike says, I literally know nothing about this Batman. This guy's massive, although maybe Erman can help him get his head and neck to match the massive body. It kind of seems out of proportion. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he needs to do something in the gym or something less in the gym to kind of solve that. But like, it's impressive when Hot Toys did their whole, we've got one more figure to announce this year, and I think a lot of us were like going, oh my god, what would it be? And I know in my head I was like, obviously very skewed by what I liked. I was like, oh my god, could it be the Artisan John Wick to go with the ballerina? I was like trying to think of like a Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. Wouldn't that be cool? Like, my head just went through my wish list of what I wanted, and I did not see this coming in any way, shape, or form. It is what it is, right? Howie Claus is an enigma wrapped in a riddle, as we like to say. Star Wars in 60 seconds. Guys, the last Star Wars in 60 seconds for 2025. What a treat. What a treat. What an absolute treat. What an absolute treat. I need one moment to prepare for the Star Wars in 60 seconds. Even Shuri's come back in for Star Wars in 60 seconds. Shuri, you're doing your claws. It's that kind of a thing. So what do? We put a minute on the clock. And I'm going to talk about this week's Star Wars releases in 60 seconds, because if you're new here, I don't do the Star Wars. And I'm trying not to ignore the Star Wars. So we do the Star Wars in 60 seconds. It's kind of like Star Wars speed dating. What a treat for everyone. Oh, God, I feel pressure now. Jazzy says, love the Star Wars in 60 seconds segment. Well, I'm glad someone does. I haven't been trolled for it yet, so I don't know if the Star Wars fans that watch the stream are just really nice people, or if the hardcore Star Wars people just haven't discovered my channel. Oh, I think that's why Jazz Inc. is getting on the 12th scale action figure, because Inart is jumping in also, but for some reason that's where the market is leaning towards. Yeah, I mean, it feels a little bit that way. I guess, you know, I can understand cost of living. The price of 6 scale figures just keeps going up. So I can understand, I can understand people's budgets. I can appreciate that. Carlos says, when Hot Toys said they were giving us one more figure, I was hoping it was Princess Leia from A New Hope. It's more like no hope for me. Oh, I'm sure it's coming, Carlos. I feel like they're going to just make everything Star Wars till the end of time. Oh, Laura's excited for Chewie. That's at least one person. Sister, are we going to talk about the T800 from InArt? They just posted it. They posted it. It's going on pre-order, so I don't have it on the list because it's just like the teaser image. So I would say next week when it's gone for pre-order and we have some more pictures, we'd probably talk about it a bit more. But I have to say that hair still looks super dark to me. Shuri getting in touch with her dark side and getting her nails ready. Maybe. So many comments. Oh, this Star Wars is going for too long. So I'm not an original trilogy expert, but I think this Chewie looks pretty good, especially since the last version, Force Awakens, set the bar so low. Did they? They saved the best Star Wars character for last. I love this Chewbacca. I'm so glad they released the styling video, which makes me know I chose wisely when I ordered this. Yes, Star Wars people are nice people. Well, if you're Star Wars people, you're nice people, Cousin Anthony. It's okay. There's 975 million other streams that talk about Star Wars every freaking day. I know. I talk about God knows what. All right. So I'm gonna hide the comment. We're gonna talk about Star Wars in 60 seconds. I'm gonna bless myself. We're gonna do this. Last one for 2025. I'm kind of excited. Okay. Let's go. I don't even know what I'm going to say. It's all right. Howie Claus loves Star Wars fans and wants them to be happy. That's why he released this Chewbacca right before Christmas. But all I heard was roar, roar, and that was all the complaining of the Star Wars fans, because I've learned that Star Wars fans are never happy. And they're not happy with this Chewbacca figure. And even though Howie's released a little video on how to style him, people still don't appear to be happy. Speaking of not happy, I want to know what the deal is with Chewbacca, because he's armed and dangerous, and I'm not happy about this. Look at this situation. He has kidnapped C-3PO and is dismembering him. C-3PO is dead inside. Look at those eyes. He couldn't be sadder. And Chewie is a creepy stalker. Look at how much joy he has in his heart and his eyes and his goofy smile. While C-3PO is dead inside. He's disassociated. He's thinking of happier times, rolling through the desert with R2-D2, while creepy stalker Chewbacca is having the time of his life. This thing also came out. It's from Andor. I don't know what it is. The time's up. The time's up. So that's it. It's Star Wars in 60 seconds. It's wrapped for this episode. It's wrapped for 2025. It's done. Merry Christmas, Star Wars fans. That's your recap. What a treat, Star Wars in 6 seconds. Austin says, are you going to show the listing of releases that are coming out soon? I think I did that in last stream. I did that recently, so I don't do that every week. I probably do it once a month. Jazzy's loving Cousin Anthony's John Wick posing video. 100%. Cousin Anthony needs more videos. I totally agree. Jazzy says, this is how I smile in group pics. What, like Chewbacca? That's a worry. Oh boy, complaining about 6-scale figures can be for any IP. Well, I always say, is it a Hot Toys release or announcement if someone isn't complaining? I don't think it is. He was putting C-3PO back together. Look, Jeff, we don't let facts get in the way of Star Wars in 60 seconds. Otherwise, it would be Star Wars in 6 seconds, because I would have nothing to talk about. Star Wars in 60 seconds is like creative writing from someone who's never seen Star Wars and has little to no interest. Erman says, are you hyped for Chris Evans' teaser for Doomsday? Look, I don't normally watch trailers, but everybody kept talking about the Chris Evans and it piqued my interest. And I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, okay. I assume that was put out to mitigate all the leaks. I don't know. I'm never not happy to see Chris Evans, if that helps. I'm very keen for Doomsday. I hope it's good. Good job on Star Wars in 60 seconds, Helen. Thank you. Appreciate that. But Jeff, 60 seconds is always better than the original story. Well, I like to think so. I like to think Star Wars in 60 seconds is like the best Star Wars commentary you're going to get in the 6-scale community. As I say, don't let facts get in the way of Star Wars in 60 seconds. Figure of the year. Which one? Creepy stalker Chewbacca or this guy from Andor? Oh, maybe a posing showcase instead of a tutorial for Deadpool. Why not both? Why not combine the two, Cousin Anthony? Is it Porqueas las dos that they say in that old El Paso ad, which I don't even know is in any other country but Australia? And if I said something inappropriate in another language, I'm so sorry. I do not speak Spanish. Star Wars fans, of which I am one, are amazingly thoughtful and kind people, as long as we are not talking about Star Wars stuff. Yeah, I always say that Star Wars fans love-hate relationship with Star Wars doesn't help sell the Star Wars to someone like me. Uncarded Reviews is here. Hello. Inart just revealed their T800. Let's go. Well, I mean, they showed a teaser photo and said orders were coming soon. I still think that hair looks way too dark. Maybe that's just me. Let's move on, because that's so much. We don't need any more Star Wars than that, folks. That was way more than 60 seconds. So, last week we had the Artisan Iron Spider. And Howie Claus, because he's cheeky little bugger, he decided to keep us on our toes and not give us the sculpted version to compare and contrast. I'm guessing because he wanted the Artisan figure to have its time to shine. And fair enough. You do you, Howie. So this week we got the pictures of the sculpted version of the Iron Spider. And so we talked about the figure quite a bit last week, but I thought we could do a little bit of a look at the two head sculpts so we could compare the rooted to the sculpted. But I did want to include this picture because I do think this does come with some cool accessories. I like having the nanotech gauntlet. I absolutely love having Milner with the spider web effect. I think this looks so awesome, and I am fighting many urges to buy the sculpted version of this figure. I'm not going to lie. It's becoming very tempting. So here we have on the left-hand side the sculpted and on the right-hand side the Artisan. It's a bit frustrating because a lot of the times the bloggers don't have front-on images of the head sculpts, and I couldn't really find two comparable shots of the head sculpt that I could use, which was a bit of a bummer. But I have to say, this is another sculpt where I'm really impressed with what Hot Toys has done with the sculpted hair. I think there's a lot of detail in there. I think you can see the curls. I think you can see... I just think it looks really good. I think both look really good, if I'm honest. I said last week, I'm really impressed with how good a job Hot Toys did with this Artisan hair, given it is quite short. I know with the J&D Bruce Wayne, I didn't really love their rooted hair, but I feel like this looks really fantastic. I don't know that there's a bad choice between these two. Seriously, I think if you're getting either one of these, I think you're going to have a really impressive figure. And I watched... the Figure Hideouts review of the Iron Spider, and that just increased my temptation for this one. I love the magnetic attachment that you can add the pincers to. I think it was interesting to hear him adjusting the figure, like the ratcheted joints. It sounds like this is going to be really poseable. And as I said, it comes with some really cool accessories. You've got a diorama display base. You've got the LED light up in the foot. I think this is a really solid release from Hot Toys. And as I said, I don't know that there is a bad choice. So in the middle here, we've got the Artisan, and on the two sides, we've got the sculpted hair. And as I said, I think both look really nice. So I think if you prefer sculpted, you don't want to have to do any kind of maintenance, you live somewhere humid, you don't like rooted hair, I don't know that the sculpted is that poorer of a cousin. Like, I think both look really nice, if I'm honest. I like both of them. I really do. Uncarded Review says, InArt is really starting to pick up steam. Their latest release and reveals have been bangers. Let's go, Team Rooted Hair. That's fair enough. Team Rooted Hair. I can't work out what that emoji is, cousin. I'm sorry. It looks really dark. I don't know what that is. Zord's pics really sell this, even though I don't need it. That pose with Cap looking like he just threw the hammer and Spidey's web to it soaring in the air is posing genius. Yeah, he had some lovely poses. And I was saying that last week. I really liked the fact that the blogger photos had some really dynamic poses, but also what I would call, as my brief into Cousin Anthony when we post together, safe but cool. They had some really nice poses that you could use that looked quite interesting, but don't put a lot of stress on the suit. So I do like when they give you that range. And yeah, I thought Zord did a great job of incorporating a lot of other characters. I liked there was the photos with Thanos, there was photos with Iron Man, and that was really enabling because I have 2 Mark 85. So there was a part of me going, oh, I could put one of my Mark 85s with the Iron Spidey. We're building a display. And then I had to shut myself down and be like, no, we're not building a display. We're not building a display. We've got to be measured. Zord killed those pics as always. Yeah, he does a fantastic job. He really does. It's nice to see Hot Toys getting some new people into the mix for the video reviews and the blogger photos. I've really been a fan of that this year. Helen, did you see on YouTube that J&D Studios said they had a major meeting with InArt and Hot Toys officials? Something's going on behind the scenes. I don't think they mentioned Hot Toys. They mentioned InArt. So I did watch J&D News, and it sounded like they had some event in Korea, and they said that people from InArt were there and they had some discussions. I was personally hoping those discussions might be, which Warner Brothers figures are you releasing? Let's try not to double up and do the same thing. That would be nice. I can't remember them mentioning Hot Toys, but I do remember them mentioning InArt. So that's on the J&D channel for anyone who missed it. It's just a really short 3-minute video, I think it was. Yeah, the pose with Thanos was bang on. I need to work on my confidence posing and working up to something like that. Cousin Anthony, you've got the Iron Spider. Maybe that could be your next showcase. Just saying. Just saying. I just had to get some more photos in there because he just looks great. He really does. This is a really impressive figure. I'm kind of surprised that Hot Toys is still going to the endgame well when you think about the way some of those figures hung around. But if they're going to give them glow-ups, I guess people won't be mad about it, right? Shuri's up to shenanigans. Sometimes I have to keep an eye on her. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. What a figure this is. So not an artisan, but it does have the wool hair on the 2 head sculpts. So this is the first head sculpt you have with the protruding eyes, and the tongue is magnetic, which seems to be a new thing that Hot Toys get to kick out of. I thought this looked really good. I thought it looked really good. There was a quick little video that Figure Hideout put out on his channel, and I think it is really nice to have those early video pieces of footage, because I do feel like sometimes blogger photos can be a little bit hit or miss, and people tend to jump the gun. They react really strongly to the blogger photos, case in point Chewbacca, and then when you see that styling video, I didn't think he looked that bad. See you, Shuri. I kind of feel like this might be one. I know Figure Hideout made a comment that he thinks the figure looks fantastic. So for people who are concerned, maybe go have a look at his footage of this figure, because I think it looks really good. So this is the first head sculpt. And then this is the second one. And I think it's really quite impressive because he's got that receding hairline. So Hot Toys, I think they've had to do maybe a little bit of a combination of some maybe a little bit sculpted and then the rooted, but I feel like they've pulled it off. I personally think this looks really nice. And if we look at these next photos, particularly that one in the middle, I see Michael Keaton. I see him there. I see the likeness. So people who were dumping on the head sculpt, I don't get it. Like, if you don't have it in hand or you haven't seen some good footage of it, as I said, I don't know how many times we can say to people, don't jump the gun based on blogger photos. Because sometimes, I know for me, even when I pick photos to use the stream, sometimes there's photos that look really nice, but when you look at the detail, the figure's actually a little bit out of focus. And that's where I wish Hot Toys probably didn't post some of the pictures that they don't think puts the figure in the best light or maybe isn't fully in focus. But it is what it is, right? As I said, that middle photo really is probably what sold it for me. I think it's got a really strong likeness. I do think the hair looks nice. As I said, trying to pull off this receding hairline thing, that's tricky. That is a tricky thing to try to do, but I'm really a fan of this. So I think it looks nice. And it comes with a ton of accessories. As I said, I love this tombstone accessory that it comes with. I thought it was cool to see some of the bloggers having a little bit of fun with it. I really thought the pose with Beetlejuice, like sitting on the tombstone, looked really cool. But then he's got like so many accessories. He's got it's like a microphone and some books and some different things like that. So I feel like there's so many options that you have. It comes with a normal display base as well, which I like. I like that we've got both of them there. I think there's a lot to like about this. I was kind of surprised we got this before Christmas. I wasn't really sure if we would get anything between Christmas and New Year. I thought maybe we'd get a bit of a lull, and then January we might have had a bit of a frantic rush of releases before Chinese New Year. But it's nice to see them still putting a few things out. And yeah, as I said, for something that's not an Artisan, I think the two sculpts with the rooted hair and the range of accessories, this comes kitted out with more than what some of the Artisan figures came with. Like, if you got the Black Widow, that wasn't the exclusive version with the Iron Man arm, like, that didn't come with a lot. This comes with a ton more accessories, and this was not Artisan. So, as I said, I think there's definitely a lot to like about this. Helen, any word on your Jasmine Catwoman figure release date? No, I don't think that's coming. I would assume Q2 next year. I don't think that's coming anytime soon, but that's fine. I can wait as long as it means it's going to be good. Oh, I read that one before. Uncarded Review says, the Sideshow Collectibles Beetlejuice head sculpt likeness looks better. I'm not overly familiar with that one to know what that looks like. As I said, I thought this looks good. There was a lot of people hating on the hair. I don't know. I literally looked up photos of, okay, what does Michael Keaton look like in 2024 Beetlejuice? And as I said, I feel like that receding hair is going to be a challenge for anyone. And I thought they did a good job with it, if I'm honest. Keen to know, is anybody picking this up? Because I think Sideshow, they did they do one from the original movie as well? I feel like Sideshow's had a couple of goes at Beetlejuice. I'm not sure, but let me know. Erman says, can't wait for you to get the Stealth Strike Suit cap soon. I mean, I hope it's soon. I'm looking forward to that as well. Very much looking forward to that as well. Carlos says, I too think this figure looks awesome. Not sure why anybody would be hating on this figure. I don't know. I don't get it either. I think it looks really nice. Austin says, honestly, Hot Toys did a fantastic job on Beetlejuice. Figure art is subjective. Yeah, it is. Oh, Carlos is tempted to pick this one up. It will be interesting to see with some of these. I'm going to call them a bit more niche releases, like Beetlejuice. I'll put Wednesday in there. It'll be interesting to see in the future if they're things that hang around or things that become quite sought after because there wasn't a lot of product made. It's always the fun thing to see down the line. Mike Failer says Beetlejuice is a pass for me. Looks good, but just don't have that strong of a connection with this. That's fair enough. Oh, Highland Figures is here. Hello. They packed out a figure and made it the cheapest Artisan on par with the standard figure prices, but no one cares about Beetlejuice. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is Beetlejuice popular in Hong Kong? I have no idea. I have no idea if Beetlejuice is even a thing in Hong Kong. But yeah, I mean, as I said, the amount of things that come with this is crazy. It really is. You get a lot of bang for your buck with this figure. Laura says the issue with the Hot Toys Beetlejuice, I think, is that it's from the new movie, so it's an older Keaton. Sideshows is from the original movie. Some people wanted that original version more. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but I think we saw that sometimes licensing can get in the way. I think, I kind of feel like that was maybe the issue with the Andrew Garfield figure. Everybody wanted that from No Way Home, and we didn't. We got a 2.0 from his solo movie. So sometimes those licenses aren't always there, but I would have thought if you're doing Beetlejuice, maybe you'd offer that older one, but I don't know if it was something the people with the IP wouldn't give it out. I've got no idea. AJ says, I agree this figure was well done and mostly has everything you need. Yeah, I think so too. Oh, Carlos says it would look good paired up with Wednesday. I mean, you could have a little bit of a horror line theme going with Wednesday and Beetlejuice, and you could get a Pennywise. You could get a few things and have a little horror shelf if you so desire. Helen, correct me if I'm wrong. You're not a fan of the Deadpool Hugh Jackman Wolverine figure. You are wrong. I am a fan of the figure. I just don't have space for it. So I think both of the Wolverine figures that came out were fantastic, whether that's the blue and yellow suit or the TVA version. I think they're both fantastic. I just don't have space for them at the moment. So I like them. I just don't have I'm just not starting any new lines at the moment until I sort out my room and the sort of I can probably fit in one more cabinet. Until I work that out, I'm not really wanting to buy figures that I can't display or start lines that I don't know if I'll be able to accommodate. So no, I like them. I like them a lot. Laura says, I've seen Beetlejuice and Wednesday together. They pair well. Also, I totally watched that movie. Oh, that would be fun, wouldn't it? That would be fun to have a Beetlejuice Addams Family crossover. Why has no one thought of that? That would be fun. That would be fun. 2 tips. Believe it or not, that's the end of the newsy news, guys. I feel like we got through that in pretty good time. Here I am full screen. Hello. Another question, Helen. Are you looking forward to the Hot Toys Fantastic Four movie figures that are coming out soon? Look, I've seen them. I think they look really good. I'm quite excited at the fact that Hot Toys showed they're capable of completing a team. They're probably not for me, though. As I said, I'm not starting any new lines. And I liked the movie. Like, it's not that I didn't like it. I just don't have that, oh my God, I need to have the Fantastic Four in my collection. Like, it wasn't that strong of a pull for me from that movie. But I did enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I also wonder if we're going to get future versions of them in other movies. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know if with time, if my desire for them will grow. But for now, as I said, I can appreciate them. I've even got a short on my YouTube channel showing the figures on display at Secret Base, and I thought they all looked really nice. But as I said, we can only have so many figures. Beetlejuice, Jenna Ortega was in Beetlejuice sequel, but not as Wednesday, right? I did not see last year's Beetlejuice movie. You're all shocked. I know you're all shocked. Let's do it. I'm going to go through my rankings of my 2025 purchases. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak to them all and then I'll catch up on the comments. But let me know, because I'll catch up on the comments, if you picked any of these figures up, what you thought of them, and maybe let me know what your best figure was that you picked up. If you had a worst figure for some reason, you can also let me know that as well. But I thought I'd just run through my ranking from 9 to 1 and sort of tell you what I got and what I thought about it. All right. So 2025, I didn't buy a huge number of figures, but I like to feel that what I got was definitely quality. So there was 9 figures that I bought in total, predominantly Hot Toys, only 1 third-party figure, and nothing from InArt or J&D. So this was really hard to do. I don't like to put anything last, but unfortunately, something had to come last. And I had 3 of what I call dude in suit type figures. And typically I rank them a little bit lower, which is not to say they weren't great figures. They're just not, I guess, as interesting or have as much to them as some of the comic book suits. So at number 9, and this was hard, I moved this up and down the list so many times, I have the Mars Toys Jewel Face, which is Tommy Lee Jones based on his appearance in Batman Forever. So the reason I put this in at 9 compared to some of my other dude in suit figures was a couple of small things. This does come with 2 head sculpts, which I think is always a plus. I did feel like the smiling head sculpt was a lot stronger than the more neutral one. The neutral one looked a little bit goofy to me, and if I'm honest, the mouth kind of gave me Grinch vibes. I can't explain why. It was a little bit weird. I know some people had some issues with the accuracy of some of the colors. That didn't particularly bother me. I thought that this was pretty well executed from a third-party company. There was a lot of different fabrics and parts they had to pull together to bring the suit together, the tie together, the shirt together. And I thought it was a really solid effort. It was a big improvement on the other third-party version we've gotten of this figure. And I was really happy to add it to my collection. It had some really good accessories. You had the diamonds, you had the different guns. The body was perhaps a little bit short and the pants were baggy, but that's something that you can fix with ankle extenders, which is what I did. So a really solid figure, particularly for a third-party release. But as I said, something had to come in at number 9. So for me, that was the Mars Toys Jewel Face. So number 8 is my next dude in a suit. It is the Hot Toys Kane figure. And as I say, these figures that are ranked lower, I think it is a little bit because they don't have those cool superhero costumes. For me, I thought the likeness to Donnie Yen was really solid in this head sculpt. I thought the clothing was tailored really nicely. I did think the body was perhaps a little bit big for Donnie Yen. When you have him next to the John Wick Chapter 4 figure, I don't think you get a correct representation of the height and size difference between Donnie and Keanu. But that aside, I think this comes with great accessories, all the things that you would want. It's got his cane, it's got the dueling pistol, you've even got the little sensors from the scene in the restaurant. So for me, I think this is a really well done figure. And as I say, something had to come in these lower places. And unfortunately, it's normally the dude in a suit type figures. Case in point, John Wick, because anybody who knows me knows that I love John Wick. So in number 7, I've got John Wick Chapter 4. A figure so nice, I bought it twice. I do have 2 copies of this. I love this on so many levels, so it really does bum me out to have this down at number 7. I know we've got the Chapter 1 figure coming out, but this Chapter 4 sculpt was a big improvement, I think, on their attempt at John Wick with the Chapter 2 figure. I love the changes and improvements that they made to things to make this a bit more than dude in a suit. I love the magnetic vest. I love that the jacket is posable. and that we've got the swap out hairpiece that is a little bit more like he's in action. Because I feel like when you combine these things together, you can get a little bit more dynamic with your posing with the John Wick, and it feels more believable when you can pose the jacket, when you can have the hair looking a little bit more messy. I think it just adds to that level of realism that a lot of people, I think, do want from their figures. I thought the suit was nicely done. And again, like the Kane figure, this comes with all the accessories you could possibly want. The dueling pistol, katana, the bow and arrow, the nunchucks. I feel like any weapon he had in this movie, Hot Toys gave to us. So I really, really loved this. As I said, but unfortunately something has to come in the lower places. And as much as I do love the John Wick franchise, I had to put this in at number 7. Number 6, I know technically didn't come out this year, but I bought it this year. It's the Hot Toys She-Hulk Daredevil, which I was lucky enough to pick up when I was in Hong Kong. This is my first Daredevil figure, and I'm really happy with it. I think the yellow and red suit, which is a little bit more comic inspired, it's quite an interesting combination. I think we've seen some improvements in the proportions compared to the original Netflix figure. I'm a little bit unsure about how well this will pose and whether that will damage the suit, but I do think it's a really good looking figure, and for me it was a must-have companion piece to She-Hulk. I really like the Matt Murdock head sculpt that comes with this. I'm probably going to use that to improve my So Toys Hero Lawyer, but that is another bonus that I love with these figures that we get with 2 head sculpts, that you've got that ability to then kit bash another version of that character. And I think that does add a little bit of value for money. So for me, as I said, wasn't something I was originally thinking I would get when it was announced, but I'm glad I was able to pick it up. And as I said, I think it's a bit of a different look. I don't know if we're going to see this look for Daredevil again in any of the Marvel properties. So it might end up being something a little bit niche. And as I said, I'm really glad that I was able to pick it up. Number 5, and I'll be honest, I'm really surprised I had the Endgame Scarlet Witch at number 5. This was a figure I was really hunting for as far as the Civil War version of it goes. I wanted that for my A-Force display in the longest time. So when Hot Toys said they were going to revisit it with Endgame, I was really excited. I always wanted the sculpted version. I did feel like, for me, aesthetically, I liked the look of the sculpted hair more than the Artisan version. And there's definitely a lot of things that I do love about this figure. That diorama display base is an absolute winner. I love that it's got a couple of different light up modes. The one thing I probably didn't like about it is that the flight stand is very short. So I did have to swap that out with a flight stand from another figure. So that's one small negative. The other negative for me, and probably why I've got it ranked where I do, is I am concerned about the material of the pants and how durable they're going to be. So the Civil War Scarlet Witch had a lot of issues with flaking, and I'm a little bit concerned this might meet the same fate. I feel like they have made some changes to the jacket, and that does feel like we've got a couple of different materials in there. But the pants and how they'll go with posing, particularly I just have her in a simple flight pose with a bent knee. I am a little bit concerned with how that's going to go in the future. So I hope I'm wrong, but as I said, my concerns as to how long this is going to last did contribute to my placing this in at number 5. So these next 2 figures were released in Hong Kong in 2024, but didn't come out in Australia till 2025. So I do consider them as 2025 releases in my eyes. So number 4, we have the Hot Toys Bane. This figure, honestly, really changed my mind about 2.0s. I was very anti 2.0s with the Dark Knight trilogy. And when I saw this Bane figure, I did a complete 180. This thing is a massive improvement on the 1.0. The proportions, obviously, this is a lot beefier than the first version. Is it a little bit too muscular? Perhaps, but I don't mind that. The fact that we've got the silicone arms is a big step up from the 1.0. I love the fact that they've made a fabric change with the longer sort of, I won't call it a trench coat, but the longer jacket. That was one that I know in my 1.0 copy did flake. So they've made some changes to that, and it's now more of a suede material, which I think will be more durable, which I'm a fan of. They also gave us this second jacket as well, which I like. I like having the multiple looks. Bane doesn't really have a lot of clothing, so the fact that they gave us 2 jacket options, I really did like. And of course, as I said, you can have him just with the vest on to really see that seamless body. The head sculpt, I thought the 1.0 was good. This 2.0, I can definitely see improvements there. We can definitely see some of the scarring in the body. And then I love the diorama display base. It's modular. You can have it, as you can see here in the picture, with the backdrop, with the base, with the water. You can have it just with the sort of base there. You can mix and match it to suit your display. And even you can have him holding the bit of the railing as well, which I think is cool. So I really think Hot Toys made a big step up from the 1.0 to the 2.0. And as I said, this for me was a real game changer in the way I collect, and particularly with the Dark Knight trilogy and wanting, I guess, to upgrade where I can, whereas before I was really against that idea. So number 3 is the Hot Toys DX33 Joker. I have a lot of Heath Ledger Jokers. I have around 9 Heath Ledger Joker figures. I'm not even joking. And this is by far and away my favorite and what I think is the best. And I have the In-Art Rooted 2-pack deluxe, and I still think this sculpted Hot Toys version is better. The improvement in the sculpt is phenomenal. When you compare it to something like the DX11, like Hot Toys has come a long way. I posted a photo of this recently on my Instagram, and a friend of mine was like, that looks like a photo of Heath Ledger. Like, that looks so realistic. And I do. I think the likeness has improved. I think the tailoring has definitely improved. This is so much more streamlined and sits so much better on the body, all the different layers of the clothing compared to the DX11 and certainly the DX1. Comes with a ton of accessories, which you expect from the Joker. I absolutely love the diorama base. That also has a light up feature, which I really like. And I just think it's pluses all around with this figure. I really can't think of anything that I don't like about it. And I think, of all the Jokers I had, if I could only keep one, it would definitely be this one. I'm really, really impressed with this. And as I said, it's another figure that has really changed my mind about 2.0s and whether I will pick them up in the future. Number 2, it's something that I never thought I'd buy. I was totally influenced into buying this by Bob Dylan. So it's the Hot Toys Dark Knight Armory and Bruce Wayne. And it did feel a little bit, is it unjust to have it so high? Because it comes with so much. A big part of my ranking of this is putting aside the armory, which does look fantastic. I seriously can't believe I wasn't going to pick this up. The improvement that Hot Toys has made to the Dark Knight suit, which you can see in the picture on the right, it's a huge step up from the DX19, and people really sung the praises of the DX19, but I feel like this Armory Batman is another level above. We've seen more detail in the suit. We've seen, I think, some improvements to the proportions. A lot of the things that people complained about as far as the neck and the cowl, I think some of these issues have been addressed. So for me, I definitely feel like this Dark Knight figure, if it was released on its own, it would definitely be a very highly ranked figure for me. I will say as a side note, the Power Pose Bruce Wayne, definitely a lot better than I expected it to be. I wasn't sure what my thoughts would be on it, and I think that's probably part of the reason why I wasn't originally going to pick it up. I do like the Power Pose body for this version of Bruce, and having the seamless body with the shorts and the t-shirt, it definitely has a nicer aesthetic. I think it would have been cool, or it would be cool if Hot Toys does continue to do these figures in the future, to give us some swap out arms, whether they're jointed arms that you can pose or different preset arms. I think that would be a nice touch to see. The armory is fantastic. I can't say enough about it. the light up feature, the ease of which you put the accessories in, the sort of dewy water effect on the acrylic or plastic, whatever it is. It just ticks so many boxes. And as I said, I really have no regrets picking this up. It was an expensive piece. It was around $1,000 Australian, which I think is probably around 600 US, but absolutely no regrets from me. I love this. And I've got a full unboxing of this on my channel for anybody who's interested. And it probably comes as absolutely no surprise that my number one figure pickup for the year is the Hot Toys Artisan Black Widow. I've got the exclusive version. I was very lucky to find it in Hong Kong. And this is my first Artisan figure, and I really have not known what to think about the Artisan line. There's been some very mixed thoughts about this, but I think this Black Widow figure is definitely Hot Toys Artisan line at its best. The hair looks fantastic. The suit's really nicely done. I was really quite impressed with the strengths of the magnets on the base. I was a little bit worried about that because of the inart bases and some of the issues people have had with it. But I've had my figure on the magnetic base for around a month now, and there's been no sign of movement. So I'm really quite impressed with that. As I said, I got the exclusive version, so I was quite lucky to get those extra Iron Man accessories. I do feel like if you had the standard edition, obviously it's a little bit lacking with accessories otherwise, which is a bit of a bummer. I would like to see that be something that Hot Toys improves with the Artisan line in the future. But I think overall, I'm a really big fan of Black Widow, and I hands down think this is the best Black Widow figure that Hot Toys has done. I feel really lucky that I was able to pick it up. And as I said, that rooted hair, it looks fantastic. I was really not sure what to think of Artisan hair when I saw the Scarlet Witch, because that does look a little bit helmet-like. But this hair just looks sensational. So for me, it really was a no-brainer to have this as my number one pickup for 2025. So as I said, not a huge number of pickups for me this year, but I like to think that everything I got was really good. I feel really fortunate that I don't look at any of these figures and think that they aren't a great addition to my collection. So, yeah, as I said, very happy to pick all these up. And let me know, what did you pick up this year? What was your favorite pickup? Was there anything that you picked up that was perhaps a little bit of a letdown? I think across the board, it was a pretty good year for collectors. So keen to hear your thoughts. Let me know. I have a lot of comments to catch up on. That's what you get when you do a big monologue. But I wanted to just go through and do that all uninterrupted, because sometimes questions come in and I'm not sure if it breaks up the flow. I'm not sure. Where am I up to? Oh, Austin, you and me both. I'm still hoping one day that Hot Toys will make an Okoye figure. Me too. That's my dream. Uncarded Review says, my personal figure of the year is the J&D Studios Joker. That's fair enough. I'm skipping Cousin Anthony's comments for a reason that will be apparent later. Keith says, got about 30 figures in this year. Wow. I'll be posting my year-end thoughts on my Instagram page. Too much to share in one comment. But my figure of the year was the Wolverine Deluxe. That's a fair enough. That's a fair enough choice. I think that's going to be figure of the year for a lot of people. Helen, I don't know if I heard this or not, but Marvel is putting Endgame back in the movie theater soon. Oh, is it? I did not know they were doing that. Keith says, I was excited to get Endgame Scarlet Witch, but it was a bit of a letdown. Not sure why it was considered a DX since it lacked accessories other than the large base. And this is my thing, Keith. I feel like some of the Artisan figures have lacked accessories. And if Artisan is meant to be like top tier Hot Toys, I feel like there needs to be a bit more that comes with them. Because as I said, if I didn't get that special edition of the Black Widow figure, it really didn't come with a heck of a lot. Blue Tattoos here. Hey, everyone. Hello to you, Blue. I hope you're well. Hope you had a nice Christmas. Keith Lee says, once in hand, it felt like a traditional Hot Toys release. Yeah, and an artisan figure shouldn't feel like that, I don't think. I know for me when I got this Black Widow, it did feel like something special. So I don't like hearing that people got artisans and didn't feel that way. Carlos says, I have to get my hands on this Bane figure. It's a must. If you can find it, he is hard to find. That Bane is very hard to find. Ramstein fans here, hello to you, admiring Bane, as we should. I can see this Joker beating out Wanda. I'm not sure what that comment is about. I think 14's agreeing with me about Black Widow Artisan. It's an amazing figure. Blurred Dad Life is here. Good morning, everyone. Hope the holidays have been great so far. I'm closing the year with adding Jack Sparrow and the Mark 50 to the collection. Hope that 2026 is great for all. I hope 2026 is great for all as well. Jack Sparrow and the Mark 50, they're very cool. Austin is also voting for the blue and yellow suit Wolverine. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big one for everyone. Joker was a great release as well, but not sure if it should be considered DX. Head sculpt and tailoring was bang on, but the material could be better. I wish they used die cast for the accessories. Highland Figures says out of 26 figures, it's either the 2019 Joker 4-pack or the Nazgul Deluxe, both from InArt. That's fair enough. Mike says, for me personally, and I'll also speak for Ash Chase as well, Deluxe Wolverine, that Wanda is a close second. Okay, nice to see Wanda getting some love. AJ says his figure of the year is the InArt Legolas. I'm about to post my pictures of him too. He's fantastic. I'm still rounding out my top 10 though. I mean, that's lucky for me, right? If you don't buy 10 figures, it's easy to, like, more than 10 figures, it's easy to rank them, right? That's my justification. Carlos says my personal figure of the year is the John Wick figure / Kane, and also the Back to the Future Doc Marty duo. The Batman Returns Star Wars Chewbacca would have made the cut if they would have shipped. That's fair enough. Keith says, other than the head sculpt, I feel like the Artisan line lacks punch compared to InArt releases, to be honest. I think some do. I look at some like Jack Sparrow and I feel like that came with a lot. And some are a bit, not as plentiful. Oh, Renz, I guess I got top O. Oh. Did you not get anything? Or are you a fan of Topo Studios? I'm trying to work it out. I don't know what Cousin Anthony's saying here. I have no idea. Carlos says you can easily get the 1.0 Bane, but you're right, 2.0 is off the charts expensive on the secondary market. Yeah. My first trip to Hong Kong was just after that Bane released. I could not find it anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. It was nowhere to be found. Oh, I think Renz and Cousin Anthony are speaking Dutch. Didn't get any figures this year. But I'm sure you made some cool art, right? I'm sure you made some cool art. Give me 2 ticks. It's a lot of talking for one person. 2025 year in review. So there was a lot of figures in 2025, and we've got a lot of companies making figures. So I'm not going through everything ever made in 2025, but I wanted to kind of highlight, I guess, a few things that stood out for me in this year of collecting. So with the categories that I have, as always, please feel free to chime in. I always love to know what other people's point of views are on different aspects of collecting. it's much more fun to know what other people think than to be in a bubble. So here's some of what we got in 2025. And look, all companies represented. Nobody at me that their company wasn't in the thumbnail. Biggest letdowns. I had two biggest letdowns, and you won't be shocked to hear that one of them was the Artisan Eve Macaro figure. I know it's an announcement and not a release, and I am typically, I like to think a bit more positive about these things, but I saw this thing in person and it was not good, guys. Like I stared at it. I tried to look at it from different angles. It's not a great likeness. So as much as I was really hyped for Hot Toys saying they were going to make this figure, and I loved the movie, this head sculpt is not it. So I really can only hope that Hot Toys will make some improvements to it in the new year. But I am buying this with the thought that I might have to update the head sculpt. So for me, from a Hot Toys perspective, I think this was my biggest letdown. As I said, I genuinely think every Hot Toys figure I've ever bought looks good. And this for me is just not it. Oh, 2025 and 60 seconds, cousin. I wish I thought of that, because then that would have been, I would have been done. I would have been gone. See you next year. But no, I did not. I wasn't that smart to think of doing it in 60 seconds. I did contemplate doing like a song, but then I realized I can't sing, and really no one should be subjected to me singing. So here we are. Blurred Dad Life says, of the 12 figures I got this year, Jack Sparrow is my figure of the year. Batman 2.0 and red and blue suit Spider-Man are my runners-up. They're all very good choices. Figure It Out is here. Hello, everybody. Hello to you. I hope you're doing well. Aaron's here as well. Hello, Aaron. My best pickup so far for 2025 is definitely Deluxe Wolverine with the Hugh Jackman head sculpt. Just the versatility alone makes it the standout, but the Artisan Black Widow is right up there. I think that's going to be a top two for a lot of people. So nice to see you in the chat, Aaron. Very cool. My other letdown for the year, sadly, is from the same world. JND. What is this? On the Two Greek Geeks stream that I do with Costa, we call him Yannis Wikopoulos, because this is not John Wick. It's his Greek third cousin, twice removed, half auntie's brother's nephew something. I really thought J&D was going to get my money with this John Wick. This came after the announcement of their Two-Face, which looks absolutely fantastic. And I was very much, particularly when I heard they were doing chapter 1, I was like, oh, I'm screwed. J&D's going to get a whole bunch of my money. And then they showed us these, and I have no words. I don't care how great a silicone body is. These head sculpts just aren't it. And for the people who complained about the Hot Toys John Wick Chapter 4 head sculpt, I'm sorry. I will take the Hot Toys one over Yannis Wikopoulos here any day of the week. And the Hot Toys Chapter 1 sculpt looks so good. And I'm pretty sure Bob said this suit is not even accurate color-wise. So seriously, I feel like after the highs of what we saw with that Two-Face, this was a huge letdown from J&D. Oh, hi, I'm Figures. I've come around to Eve Macaro and don't think it's as bad as everyone is saying. Really? That's wild, because I saw it multiple times at Secret Base, and every time I saw it, I wanted to like it more, and I never liked it more. I did not like it at all. The Hot Toys Eve Macaro looks like they deep faked her face with Natalie Portman. To me, it looked like Gal Gadot with wet hair. Like when I think I've told this story. I walked into Secret Base. You've got the long, narrow cabinet. It's got like, I think 5 shelves, and Eve was on the bottom shelf, and I know why Eve was on the bottom shelf. And I literally crouched down and looked at her. I'd watched Ballerina on the plane, so I had Anna de Armas's face fresh in my mind. And I went, oh, she looks like Gal Gadot. It's not good. We would pay for Cousins 2025 figure song. I don't think anybody would, but I appreciate you saying that, Cousin. That's George Harrison. Oh, maybe. Yannis Wikopoulos is wild. He's something. Yannis Wikopoulos is something. Oof, J&D, stay in your lane. Well, yeah. Carlos says ballerina figure issue is in the head sculpt. Other than that, it would have been fine. And with the J&D John Wick figure, it looks like he's turning into a fat werewolf. Wow, can't wait to get the Hot Toys. Yeah, the Hot Toys one is like looks incredible. I have 2 on order because I'm crazy. I'm crazy for John Wick. Yeah, everything else about that ballerina figure is like really good. Like I liked the outfit they picked. I love that you get the flamethrower, the accessories, everything else about it is really good. But yeah, I hope they do something about that head sculpt. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to tack on to wherever Bob will be getting a custom one from. Oh, poor Yannis. Yeah, poor Yannis. He's had a rough day, Yannis. The J&D John Wick looks like they got a cease and desist order from Keanu. Well, this is the thing, because they teased it and then they said, oh, sorry, we have to delay this. So I think a lot of us thought they were retooling something, and then they showed us it and it's like, oh no, they didn't change a thing. It's still like, it didn't look great in the teasers and it doesn't look great now. So I don't know if J&D is going to update this. I have no idea how they roll. But yeah, I can't think many people are hyped for this. I really don't. Oh, thank you, Carlos. Chat, can we all hit the like button? I mean, there's 40 people. Do I have 40 likes? I don't know. Oh, Austin, the same. Hit the like button for Helen. She deserves it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully I have around 40 likes. That would be a delight. I can see why J&D said they had to delay this. They finally came out of the dark room. Well, I mean, maybe this does look better if it's in a dark room. So yeah, they were the 2 biggest letdowns for me. As I said, if people have their own figures they want to put into any of these categories, whether you're watching live or on the replay, like let me know if there was something that was a bit of a letdown to you. Let's talk about it. Let's have a chat. As I said, I really do like hearing people's points of view on the different topics that we talk about. Under the radar figure. I definitely feel like Wednesday was such an under the radar figure. I think because that post went out from 1/6 Kit talking about the fact that the production was being reduced for China. I think a lot of people took that as a sign of it's not good, it's going to be cancelled. I feel like there were some pretty harsh comments around the promo pictures for this figure. I don't get what all the was it hate? I don't get what all the dissing was about. For me, I feel like this looks really good. I've benefited from seeing it in person. It comes with some amazing accessories. Like you've got the cello, you've got a chair, you've got some different versions of thing, you've got some other accessories. I really think from an IP, I probably never expected Hot Toys to touch. This figure looks really good. And again, I have to shout out the sculpted hair. I think Hot Toys is doing some really cool things with sculpted hair. I think the braids look really nice. I don't get what so many people are up in arms about. I know they're up in arms about a lot of things, but this figure in particular is one that I think had quite a bit of backlash. But for me, I just think it looks really good. I don't see what all the negativity was about. The best Wick figure looks like the upcoming one teased in the Eve Macaro photos. It so does. High on figures, when Hot Toys said we've got one more figure to announce for this year, I was hoping it was going to be Artisan John Wick from the ballerina. Because seriously, when they posted the ballerina photos, the thing that got me the most excited was that little teaser of the John Wick figure. It looks so much better than the Eve does. Cousin Anthony agrees. Wednesday is an awesome release, in my opinion. I totally agree. Mike says this Wednesday isn't for me, but in some of the angles like this one, Jenna is there. I think she's there. I think she's there. AJ says Sabine Wren from Ahsoka Star Wars is my under the radar figure. They absolutely nailed it with that figure, and I feel like she was released and not talked about. You know what I'm going to say? It's the female figure thing. They go under the radar a lot of times. So Austin saying when he watched the review of the Jazz Inc. 89 Batman, he wasn't that impressed. It lacked depth and definition. He had such a cheap-looking cape. Yeah, I mean, I think with that one, though, like, it's going to sit in a vehicle. So how much of it you're going to see, I don't know. Because I know for me, the kind of half, I don't know if it's still a half cape. It looked a bit funny, but maybe in the Batmobile or the Batwing, it'll look okay. I kind of don't really want to pose a Batman in the vehicle, so it's not something I've really seen anything of aside from the photos that Jazz Inc. has shared in their group, which I think they showed some pictures of the head sculpt, which looked fine. But I mean, I think most people have their vehicles like side on, so you're not really seeing it front on anyway. So I don't know, to each their own. Biggest surprises. I had a couple of surprises. And 112%, one of my biggest surprises was that InArt completed the production of the Joker this year. I was not convinced it wasn't going to take them 84 years to produce all of those rooted hair Jokers, because you got to remember, it was a 2-pack or a 4-pack. There was no single figures, and I legitimately thought it was going to take them forever and a day to do. And I feel like the first, unofficial influencer, not an influencer, but they are batch figures. I feel like they snuck them out late in 2024. So for them to get that out in a year is definitely a lot quicker than I expected. So I definitely will give InArt some kudos for that. I thought we would see people in groups, up in arms. I've been waiting 2 years for my Joker. But they got it out, as I say, in what I think was not an unreasonable amount of time, given they do the batch system, and I haven't really heard any issues on the rooted hair. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like the people that I know that have gotten this set have been very happy with it. I was super impressed with the different dioramas. I think I've said a few times I like the stair diorama with that kind of forced perspective there. It was a really solid release. And as I said, the fact they got all of those things out the door this year is something that, as I said, surprised me and I think is worth mentioning. Laura says, my biggest, happiest surprise was the Empire Strikes Back. Is that right? Han Solo announcement. Was that the Han with the big, beautiful Befont hair and not the Hoth Han? Why do I know so much about Han? I'm so disappointed in myself. Banging figure that in our 2019 Joker. A lot of people like it. Cousin Anthony says, I had the pleasure of putting the Hot Toys Batman in the 89 Batmobile for the Jazz Inc. promo pics, and it was fine. Don't think it would be good after a few months, though. No, Cousin Anthony did a bunch of promo pictures for Jazz Inc., and I still think about the pose you did, Cousin Anthony, with the Joker, like, leaning back on the hood of the Batmobile and Batman sort of standing over him. I think that looks so cool. No poofy hairy Han in the Return of the Jedi. I can't keep up with all the Han Solos. There's a lot of Han. There's a lot of Star Wars. Mike says, no doubt InArt did an amazing job on this Joker. I just didn't care for the movie or Joaquin's interpretation. Yeah, I mean, I would love to know what the orders were like for this and if they took a hit at all with the sequel, because I did like the first movie, but I will be the first to say it was Joker in name alone. And it's funny because I was talking to some friends about it and I was saying it was such a good movie, and they're like, oh, I don't like superhero movies. And I was like, honestly, you could call this anything. Like, it didn't have to be called the Joker. But yeah, that sequel just, I don't want to talk about the sequel. It's taken an exorbitant amount of time to get this year figure is the Super Mad Toys Bionic Bigfoot. Oh, is that the one that you just got? How long is a long time? Because people have been waiting 3 years for So-So Toys figures. Did that take longer than 3 years? Although I was really happy Luminara finally got her So-So Toys Blade figure. That did make me really happy. My second biggest surprises was seeing Hot Toys with some pretty quick figure turnarounds this year. There was, the Captain America and the Superman. They both came out not that long after their theatrical releases, which was really surprising to me. I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen figures come out in the same year of the movie, particularly figures that aren't just like a movie promo version or like the Disney, what was it, DX23 or D23, sorry, when they did those like Endgame Cap versions that had the shield that wasn't quite right. So I was really happy to see this from Hot Toys, and I'm kind of hoping it's a trend that continues. We saw it a little bit, I guess, last year with Deadpool and Wolverine, but I am hoping it's something that continues. The Iron Spider was something that came out pretty early as well, I think. But for me, I think it's such a bonus as a collector if you can get something not that far removed from the movie. I think the hype is still high. So yeah, I'm hoping that's something that continues. It'll be really interesting to see with Doomsday if they do something like this. I've got no doubt that if we've got Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans in Doomsday, I'm pretty sure people wouldn't be mad if there was some pretty quick drops of figures from that movie. There's a sequel. I think that's the correct answer, Renz. I think that's the correct answer. Mike says, you're definitely right about that, Helen. It always amazes me when Hot Toys announces and releases in the same year, as long as quality isn't sacrificed. Oh, 14 says 3 years to get a figure. That falls into the beep this company I'm canceling category. Well, I mean, that's So-So Toys. Like, that Blade took forever. The Starlight figure from the boys has taken forever. Like, I know I have releases with them that are delayed, but not 3 years delayed. Because, yeah, I think I'm with you. 3 years delayed is just a little bit ridiculous. Carlos says, the Superman figure is phenomenal. The movie was okay. Now with the sale of Warner Brothers to Netflix, who knows what will happen? Supergirl looks to be a better movie. I want Supergirl to be amazing. I need Supergirl to be amazing. It's interesting. I did get to see the Superman figure in Hong Kong, and I do think that I really liked. I liked the head sculpt and the expression. I liked the diorama base. I know they toned down some of the proportions, but I still felt like he was quite big. I don't know if he should have been that big, but I really liked the aesthetic of it. And I'm not going to lie. Millie's Supergirl is making me kind of want a Superman to pair with her, but I feel really torn because I like so many aspects of the Hot Toys one, but I feel like the in-art one has better proportions, but I don't like either of their head sculpt expressions. So I'm not acting on that. Bobby, what did you do? Bob Dylan is the nicest guy in collecting, and he just dropped by to gift 26 scale Shiro memberships. Bob, Father Christmas comes once a year, but, Bobby Claus, he's given gifts 365 days a year. Bobby's given someone a gift. So, Bob, it's incredibly fine. Thank you. nicest guy in collecting. I tell you that every week because it's true. Mike says, oh my God, I need to start saving up for Doomsday. Otherwise my bank account will be doomed. I think it will be. We've got people thanking Bob Dylan, 1-6 Junkie. Well, hello to you. Oh my God, cousin Bobby does this all the time. The Bob father. Santa Bobby at this point. Bobby Claus, yeah. He is a legend. He is. Happy holidays to you, Bob. I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you in the chat, as always. Happy day after Christmas collectors. We call it Boxing Day in the Commonwealth, but happy day after Christmas to you, Tijuana Mike. Nice to see you in the chat as well. What's next up on my 2025 recap? What I'm hyped for in 2026. And this is one where I definitely want you guys to chime in. This was so hard for me to not have like almost everything I had on pre-order. At one point I had the Scarecrow in there. I even contemplating having George and Chris in there. But I was like, no. We've got to be measured. So this is what I picked as what I'm hyped for in 2026. So John Wick Chapter 1, of course. I've got 2 on pre-order. I've got the standard edition and the Artisan on pre-order. I cannot wait for those. I've got Steve and Bucky, another combo I can't wait for. Captain America with the Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie. And I'm really excited to be able to update these guys in my display. I wanted to get the updated Steve because the original one definitely suffers from a few legacy issues of the past from Hot Toys, in particular, his inability to put his arms flat by his sides. But if I was going to get Steve, I needed to get the updated Bucky. So I was really happy I was able to get the special edition of Bucky on pre-order. So then I've got Steve locked in. And a figure I never thought I'd be hyped for, but I have to say I pre-ordered it and then my enthusiasm grew for it even more after seeing it at Secret Base. That Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze is something else. I was so happy it was on display in Secret Base, and to see it and the presence it had, it's next level. I know there was a third-party company who did it, and the third-party company one looks like it needs to hit the gym with Ermin because it was very undersized. The Hot Toys one is huge. It has a big presence about it. The likeness is good. Everything about it is great. The deluxe version has a nice diorama base and the wings, which are also huge. And yeah, I 100% believe Batman and Robin is going to be awesome figures from a terrible movie. And I'm okay with that. We'll rewrite the story in our mind via these awesome figures. That's my plan. We're surely going to fit in a discussion about InArt's Terminator 1 announcement, right? I wasn't going to because it is just pre-orders are coming. There's no real photos. So I was probably going to talk about that next week when hopefully we get a few more pictures of it. So I'm sorry if that disappoints people, but it's just it's going up in one photo. I was just like, I want to see more before I kind of talk about it. Laura says, I'm hyped for Chewie and is that Empire Strikes Back Han? Assuming he makes it in 2026. I hope so. Sister, do you think the Stealth Strike suit cap could top the concept art cap? Oh, I hope so. I had that concept art Captain America figure. I sold it to Iron Logan, fun fact. I really liked that one. It had really unique suit. I thought it had some pretty nice proportions for the time. I think we've probably seen with those Endgame figures that Hot Toys has kind of improved with the proportions. And as I said, even simple things like the arms being able to sit flush to the body. So, I mean, I'm hoping it will for my own selfish reasons because this is the cap I've got coming into my collection. Mike says, even the pics of the strike suit cap and that Winter Soldier look amazing. In person, it's going to look even better paired up. Congrats, Helen. I hope so. There's some photos of Bucky's hair that were concerning, but I'm reserving judgment. I'm hoping it's brilliant. Mr. Freeze Man, that's a must-have. I agree. It looks so cool. I won't spoil the next section, but yeah, it looks so good. Mike says, I'm still really surprised Hot Toys didn't give us a sculpted general release for Bucky, mainly because I wanted one. I'm with you, Mike. If there was a sculpted version, I probably would have gone for that. Unless it's something niche, I really do wish Hot Toys Artisan figures would come with a sculpted release. I can understand with things like Age of the Apocalypse Wolverine, where they're like, we want to do this, but we don't know if there's a huge demand. Absolutely, just do an Artisan release. But for something like Bucky, where I think that 1.0 has really suffered from the pleather and the flaking, I know for me, my 1.0, I've got the DeGao Toys replacement clothing set on it because mine flaked. I think there's a lot of people that are really bummed out to have missed out on it, and I don't get it. Like Bucky, the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, that's another one that I feel like would have had a lot of interest for a sculpted version as well. So I'm a bit bummed that Hot Toys didn't go there with those figures. Blue Tattoo says Freeze was a dopo, undoubtedly. Yeah, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. Austin says, for my 2026 list, it's the Hot Toys Batman Returns figure, Artisan Moon Knight, Iron Man Mark 42, last but not least, Winter Soldier, Captain American figure. Yeah, there's some great figures on the list. Oh, no disappointment. That sounds good, Helen. We'll talk about Arnie next week. I promise. You got to cover the prominent forehead on the new Bucky and he'll look good. Look, there was some photos where he looked like he just had his hair blow dried at the salon and needed some product. And that's not the Winter Soldier that I need in my collection. I hope this next one isn't controversial. Don't let us down. I wanted to put the Jazz Inc. Catwoman in the hyped, but they haven't released anything yet. So I really, really, really want the Catwoman and the Penguin to be amazing because I need a Catwoman for my Batman display. And their Penguin, the promo photos look good. So I'm hoping that these are slam dunks from Jazz Inc. We'll wait and see. But yeah, I did just want to put these in a maybe cautiously optimistic. I hope they're amazing. But overall, it's like, don't let us down, please. Because these are, I think, two characters that we've waited a long time to get licensed figures of. We've just gotten the new Returns Batman, which I think looks amazing. So I'm really hoping that these are worthy companion pieces. So fingers crossed, don't let us down. Just buy the in-art hair treatment. Do they sell that? Because they had their fancy accessory kits, and I was like, does in-art sell them? Do they sell the tweezers that you need to assemble all the Lord of the Ring figures? I mean, there's a money spinner for them, selling in-art branded tweezers. But do they sell the hair treatment? Let us know. I'm a bit worried about Jazz Inc.'s figures, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a little bit not sure what to think. I'm hoping they're amazing. I'm very mindful that they are new to this. I'm very mindful that the prototypes we've ordered from are like custom figures by custom artists, like talking about an outfit that's been made by G-Wiz Customs. Great, but they've made the prototype. They've not made the Penguin that I'm buying. So I'm keen to see what they turn out like. I hope they're good. I've only pre-ordered the Catwoman at this stage. I definitely have been quite vocal about wanting to see more production images of the Catwoman before I put down a pre-order on the Penguin. And it was quite interesting. I watched the 2025 sort of recap video from Jazz Inc. And they did talk about being mindful that the NRD for the Penguin was probably a little bit high and trying to keep that down to 20% for future releases. They also showed a little bit of the what will be the production version of the Catwoman suit, which they have got posed quite extremely, and they've said it's held that pose for a couple of months without damage to the suit. So, I mean, that's a nice first step. But as I say, they're new to this game. I think Catwoman is a very ambitious figure to start with. But I am quite happy with some of the decisions that have been made around like the stitching and the community kind of saying, no, we don't want the fabric straps with the stitching. We want it actually on the suit. I think seeing that footage in the video, definitely, I think aesthetically it looks a lot nicer. But as I said, I too am a bit like, what are we getting? What's the quality going to be like? I don't know. So that's why I'm hopeful. That's why I put these in the category of don't let us down, because I don't want to get too excited. I'm just trying to keep myself in check. Jazzing figures are in the cross all your fingers and toes category. Yeah, I feel like that. I can understand your hesitation with these Jazzing figures. It's why I didn't PO these, but I'm hopeful for those who did get the Catwoman that it turns out good or better than the proto. Me too. Blue Tattoo says, I think they're selling a hairspray. Yeah, probably. Just put it in an in-art bottle. It'll be fine. Michelle from this film is still a crush of mine, and to be quite honest, she still looks incredible in 2025. Did anybody else watch Batman Returns for Christmas? I did. I watched Batman Returns last night, fun fact. It's a Christmas movie, which I felt like I just needed to promote at this point in time. But yeah, I mean, rewatching that movie, it took me back to like being in the cinema as a kid on my own. Should I have been watching that movie as like a primary school child on my own? No, but that's how things roll when you're a latchkey kid. I'm kind of going, I can't believe the cinema let me watch that movie on my own as like, I think I was like 9 or 10 years old. It's hilarious. But it just took me back to the cinema, and I remember just how in awe I was of that movie and how much I loved it. So yeah, there's so much nostalgia in this for me. And I know there's been some third-party companies that have done this Catwoman, and they have not done a great job. And, I keep looking over at Howard Chan, Howie Claus, going, are you going to do it? Are you going to do the thing? But I don't know. He's not budging. So I don't know if he's waiting for this to come out to try to top it, or he has no interest in doing it. It's hard to know. But at this point in time, it looks like this is kind of the only licensed option we're going to get. So a lot of us have taken the plunge, and I hope we're not disappointed. Austin says he doesn't trust the product. Something is always off. Yeah. And there was the controversy about the Batmobile. Yeah, I hear you. And that's why I am I'm nervous, but also I still have a bit of annoyance at the whole push that there was to pre-order by a date, and the fact that it's still open for pre-order. There's a bit part of me as well that is a little bit annoyed about that. Not to go off on a Michelle Pfeiffer tangent, but I wouldn't be upset if Hot Toy showed her some love as the OG Wasp. Oh, that would have been cool. Yeah, the OG Ant-Man and the Wasp. I still haven't PO'd the Penguin. The NRD is ridiculous. I hear you, Blue Tattoo, and I know for me, that's another thing that put me off. I was like, first and foremost, I really had hoped they wouldn't put up many POs until they released something. But then the NRD from the Penguin was significantly more than the Catwoman. I looked at the Catwoman NRD and I went, okay, worst case scenario, if this is a train wreck, I will forfeit this money. Not that I want to do that, because I've bought from Kit and I don't like doing things like that to businesses. But I'm like, worst case scenario, if I'm looking at this and going, nah, because I know how hard it is, like with the price, with the exchange rate in Australia, trying to resell a Jazz Inc. vehicle or figure is hard. I've seen people trying to sell Jazz Inc. vehicles for what I know would have been the price they paid for them, and they just can't move the thing. So I did kind of go worst case scenario, I can bail. But the NRD for the Penguin was so much more. So it's interesting to hear Jazz Inc. Make comments in, I guess, after the fact streams to say that they think the NRD was a bit of a put off for people. I totally agree. And that they need to lower it. And I agree. I think they do need to lower it, particularly until they get some runs on the board. Because for me, I was just like, I can't put down that big of a deposit on something when I don't know how good this is going to be, because they haven't released anything. Like, they did that Vulture figure how many years ago, but my understanding is it's not all that posable. So these two figures are a whole different ball game. Blur Dad Life. I watched Batman Returns last night too. Still disappointed in the delay from Sideshow for this and my Superman. Yeah, I'm upset about your delay because it means my figure's going to be even more delayed in Australia. Fun fact, did you know, Helen, that her version of Catwoman was a huge Obi-Wan Kenobi fan? I mean, it's obvious with the big neon hello there sign. Just take my word for it. Selena doesn't really strike me as a Star Wars fan. So yeah, I'm not going to believe that. Because if she was a Star Wars fan, she would have had Star Wars action figures instead of that dollhouse. Super fun fact. My wish list for 2026. My wish list for 2026 is incredibly optimistic and female dominated because I'm 6-scale Shiro and I want some more Shiros to come into my collection. And I'm not sure if any of these will be a big surprise, but we're going with it. Okoye, as always, I need her to finish my A-Force display. I'm always living in hope that we get Okoye. So she's in Doomsday. I hope she's in Doomsday in this Dora Milaje outfit because that's what I want her in. I don't want her in, oh goodness, is it Midnight Angel or whatever that new suit she had in Black Panther 2? I need her in this look. I was almost going to say this when I was talking about Mr. Freeze. Hot Toys, finish the line. Finish the Batman, finish the Batman and Robin line. I really want someone to give us Poison Ivy and Batgirl. If that's Mars Toys, that's fine. I'll settle for Mars Toys, but Hot Toys, in for a penny, in for a pound. You're giving us Freeze. You're giving us George and Chris. At least give us Poison Ivy. Come on. I can see a lot of people having an interest in an Uma Thurman Poison Ivy. I know Alicia Silverstone at Batwoman is probably a bridge too far. I appreciate that. If someone wants to do it, even if it's Jazz Inc. wanting to do it as a back the build, I would really like to have an Alicia Silverstone. I think I called her Batwoman. I think she's Batgirl in this movie. Batgirl to go and just finish the line because we're even getting Bane. Like Mars Toys is giving us Bane. So we need Ivy. We need Batgirl. We need to finish this line. We need an amazing set of figures from a horrible movie. I want an Avengers 1 Artisan Black Widow so much. That Avengers 1 Black Widow is not aging well. The suit material's wrinkling. The head sculpt is incredibly dated. And I know there'd be a lot of people that would love to see this figure redone. So I hope if Hot Toys does it, I would even love them to do it Beetlejuice style where make it Artisan in everything but name so as many people as possible can get this. Because I know there's a lot of people that would love an Avengers 1 Artisan Black Widow or a Black Widow 2.0 in general. And the only one I think we're going to get in the middle, Millie Alcock, Aussie Supergirl. I'm not normally one that likes companies making the same figure, but for a Millie Alcock Supergirl, I'm totally down for In-Art and Hot Toys fighting it out for my money. Who will make the best Supergirl? And she better come with crypto, and she better come with the jacket. She better come with crypto on the jacket. So yeah, I'm only convinced Supergirl is what I'm getting. But I live in hope that these other 4 characters, if not Hot Toys, maybe not for Black Widow, but for the other 3, if third party wants to tackle Okoye, Poison Ivy, or Batgirl, I'm down. Howie, give us a new Black Widow, please and thank you. Blurred Dad Life is down for Okoye. So many people want Okoye. I don't understand. Like, do her as an exclusive. If you're in doubt, 5,000 unit exclusive. Between the Black Panther movie and Avengers, I have to think you're selling 5,000. I have to. Those Black Panther figures were wildly popular. A-Force line as well. Come on. Helen, will you eventually pre-order the Penguin? It depends how on figures. I need to see the Catwoman. I either need to see reviews from people whose opinions that I value or get it in hand. Until that point, I am holding off. If the Catwoman comes out and it's good, then I am quite interested in the Mare Cobblepot version. But yeah, until I see some actual production images of things like head sculpts that are painted, I'm holding off. But I've always said if the Catwoman comes out and it's good, I will then be interested in pre-ordering the Penguin. Paul is here. Hello, everybody. Hello to you, Paul. I hope you're doing well. Austin says, like you said earlier, Helen, to have the Artisan Winter Soldier figure and the stealth suit 2.0 Captain America, they're going to look fantastic together. I think they will. Well, hang on, Helen. If Jazz Inc. delivers on the Batman Returns, would you consider theirs, or would you still rather have a Hot Toys version? I'm talking about Poison Ivy. Look, if they do Catwoman and it's good, I am willing to entertain Jazz Inc. figures. They talked about Poison Ivy like it was a given, and it's interesting because I think because the Penguin pre-order numbers have been so low, they're now saying we're not sure about Poison Ivy, and I don't think they're reading the room correctly. I think, as I said, if they had released Catwoman before they then kept putting up all these other pre-orders, I think it's a different ballgame. I think they were very early in probably announcing that Catwoman before they were ready to, because they got spooked by the Eternal Toys figure. And I think they're up to version 13 or 14 of the silicone body alone, it makes me think there was maybe not as much R&D done as there typically would be. So I was a bit surprised to say they were reconsidering Poison Ivy. I always felt like when they said they were going to do Vicky Vale, I always thought that was probably the more ambitious of the two, because Mars Toys showed a Poison Ivy, and I was a little bit concerned that it looked like they were going to do a combo sculpted, rooted hair, which I'm not a fan of. So it looked like they would have like the sculpted buns and then have the longer hair. So if they deliver on returns and they're doing something from the 89 to 97 line that I don't have and Hot Toys is not doing, I'm open to that. I really thought if Hot Toys was going to do Poison Ivy, that announcement would have come like hot on the heels of Freeze, but it hasn't. So I have to think that they're not doing it. But yeah, I have to think, you know, if Jazz Inc. was doing it, they probably would do rooted hair, which I think I prefer the hair to be one media, either sculpted or rooted. I don't like the combination of the two. So I just think now they've got this back to the build functionality, I don't understand why you wouldn't do that for more figures. Like if in doubt about Poison Ivy, do it as back the build, because I again, it's another one where I'm like, I can't think you're not finding 500 people, which I'm pretty sure they said was their minimum number for figures that want this. Vicky Vale, I could understand maybe there not being 500, but for Poison Ivy, I have to think that there would be. The movie canon's here. Morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Good morning for me also, because it's Saturday morning, not Boxing Day anymore. Laura says, oh boy, I think people would lose their minds if Okoye was limited. It's a real shame that figure was never done. I really thought a third-party company like a Thunder Toys or someone, Toys Era, would give us Okoye, but sadly, no one's attempted her, which is such a bummer. Austin says his preference is for Hot Toys products. That's fair enough. Is Okoye going to be in Avengers Doomsday? I truly believe if she is and Hot Toys don't make a figure, they never will. I'm pretty sure she is. As I said, I'm not sure what suit she's going to be wearing, though, because she was wearing a different suit in Black Panther 2. But yeah, if we don't get her from Doomsday, I don't think we ever are. So I really hope that if that's the case, someone third party steps up, although third party has been really quiet. Like, you think about it, with the Thunderbolts and how little Hot Toys announced, it would have been a perfect opportunity for Toys Era to redo their Red Guardian and their John Walker, like reissue it. But they didn't. Like, third party has been so quiet this year. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I can't remember another year where there's been so little announced and released from third party, or at least that's been on my radar anyway. Figure of the year, one moment. Do you think when it comes to Okoye as a figure, she doesn't want to sign off on her likeness? No, I don't think that's the case, because there is a Michonne figure from The Walking Dead, which is the same actress. So I don't think it's the actress. I think it's Hot Toys has just chosen not to make her, which is a shame, because I'll always think that you'd at least find 5,000 people that want an Okoye. 100% believe that. Figure of the year. Let's do it. So, sorry, folks, it's getting late and I'm struggling. I appreciate that people will bring their own biases and loves to IPs or companies into conversations about figure of the year. I'm also very mindful that as far as licensed figures goes, I only received Hot Toys figures this year. I didn't get any in-art or any J&D. So I thought I would tap into some points of view of some fellow collector friends that you all may know to get their views. So I'm presenting a bit of a panel overview of Iron Logan, Cousin Anthony Figure Posing Channel, Bob Dylan, and myself as to what we thought was our figure of the year. I also gave everyone an opportunity to mention any honorable mentions of other figures that they got this year that they thought were right up there. So, as I said, I reached out to these guys because I know they receive figures from a lot of different companies. So I wanted to present a bit of a broader view than just my own, because I think my pick is going to be very predictable to anybody who watches my stream. So let's go through what everyone had to say. So John Iron Logan had a lot of honorable mentions. There was a couple that I took out because they were technically 2024 releases. So he also mentioned Bane and the quarter scale Iron Man figure, which came out. But for figures that were released this year, he gave honorable mentions to the Hot Toys James Bond, God Loki, the Battle Damage T800, the Artisan Black Widow, the Batfleck 2.0, and then the Rooted in Art Paul Atreides figure. For Bob, he gave an honorable mention to the In Art Joker 4-pack. So I thought I had some notes on that, but I don't. So yeah, and I didn't receive any In Art figures or see them in person to know, but from pictures that I saw, they looked really impressive. This 4-pack, I think if you love this movie, it gives you absolutely everything that you need. So that was Bob's honorable mention. So, figures of the year, what did we all say? I'm glad you asked. Let's go through the panel. So Iron Logan, I don't think anybody will be surprised to hear his figure of the year was the Wolverine Deluxe, the blue and yellow suit. It's a figure a lot of people have talked about tonight, and I can absolutely understand why. You're getting so much with this figure. You've got the full yellow and blue suit. You've got the swap out silicone arms. You've got the masked head sculpt. You've got the Hugh Jackman head sculpt, which has a fantastic likeness to him. As I said, absolutely a lot to like about this figure. So I don't think I was shocked to hear that this was John's figure of the year. For some reason, I thought I had muted myself, but I have not, so we're all fine. So Iron Logan has voted for the Deluxe Wolverine. Cousin Anthony, Figure Posing Channel. He had a tiebreaker. So he had the J&D Kojin Works Joker Type C and the Artisan Iron Spider by Hot Toys. And he gave me some notes as to the selections and why he picked them. So for the Iron Spider, he said, great head sculpt, nice rooted hair, LED light up throughout the figure, powered by USB, new body with seriously improved articulation. So that was all the stuff that Anthony liked about the Iron Spider. With the Joker Type C, he liked the silicone material on the head sculpt, neck, wrist, and hands, partly sculpted bone structure for the head, well-made silicone ungloved hands, nice tailoring, nice rooting. He liked the fact that J&D actually made a point to recall to redo the hair and to pre-assemble the head on the figure. He said the magnetic base works really well. Also, the magnetic movable real glass eyes were another highlight, as well as the mechanical hands are awesome, albeit maybe a tad too big. Seamless movable neck due to mechanics underneath the silicone. So that was all the features that Cousin Anthony liked about Kojin Works Joker Type C. And yeah, the Iron Spider, as I said, Figure Hideouts video really shows the improvements in the articulation of the body, which I think is quite impressive. So Bob Dylan, he had the Artisan Black Widow. And he said, I would have to say, as far as release figures this year, I think it's the Artisan Black Widow. It was an unexpected but desired announcement. An Artisan without many QC issues reported, new flexible boot, before it was either split cut or rigid without articulation. It's the first Hot Toys with a magnetic base, and to date, I think it's the cheapest Artisan. So I agree. I think the quality and the price, like the Artisan Black Widow, is definitely up there. You won't be shocked to hear that I also had the Artisan Black Widow as my figure of the year. So if we're going by the panel with 2 first place votes and an honorable mention, I'm calling it Artisan Black Widow is the 2025 figure of the year. And I think that deserves an applause. Do you not? Because, you know, we're fancy on this stream now. Where is the applause? Well done, Howie Claus. Well done, JC Hong. It's a beautiful figure. It's a beautiful figure. So if you haven't mentioned your choices yet, do let us know. What is your figure of the year? My only criteria is no custom figures. So when I reached out to John, Anthony, and Bob, I said released this year. Company doesn't matter, just not custom, because obviously custom figures are a whole other price tag and ball game. So this was me at the end deciding to crown, because I was like, well, we've got 2 first place votes and honorable mentions, so I think it's the Black Widow. Where am I up to with the comments? Mike says, so as with all things, if it comes down to Star Wars, hear me out. Oh God, if Hot Toys made a Koye in this outfit, he could be like the clone troopers, simply make the other actresses' head sculpts, the body would be the same. Well, that was my thing, Mike, because we saw that in like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Was it Io, the other member of the Dor Milaje? I was like, Hot Toys could have gotten some burn out of making that body and figure and making different head sculpts. So no, I'm with you. But they didn't want to do it, and I don't understand why. I'm going to thumbs up or thumbs down whether I agree with the figure of the year choices. Oh goodness, I think I missed it. Collectors lobbied for Cyborg, reissued the Mark 46, Lando, I don't know how to say that surname, Nebula, etc. And after they were released, the figures sat. Collectors need to put their money where their mouth is. Yeah, the Cyborg really surprises me. I have to be honest with you, Keith. I'm the same. Like, so many people were like, complete the Justice League. And then that thing got discounted. That did surprise me. Mark 46 was a little bit the same. Was it the 46 or the 47? It was the one from the Spider-Man movie, right? The red and silver one. Yeah. And this is but it's funnily enough, that is what gets me with companies like Jazz Inc. Like, they listen so much to collectors, and I'm like, but they don't always put their money where their mouth is. Like people saying they want the Penguin duck boat. I'm like, do you realize how big that would be? I don't think people do. I've got both the Valkyrie Magnuses. Good morning, Helen. Good morning to you. I can say good morning because it's Saturday morning here. 14 says thumbs up, all honorable mentions with the exception of Black Widow Artisan so far. Okay. So 14 agreed with Iron Logan. Oh, goodness. Doesn't agree with Cousin Anthony. Not saying you're wrong, just disagreeing with your figure of the year by more than 50%. 14 agreed with Bob Dylan and agreed with me. Well, wonderful taste. The hair and the head sculpt alone are incredible on this Scarlet figure. ... I'm looking for the rest of the ... Erman says my figure of the year would be Armored Batman 2.0, T800 2.0 clean version, Deluxe Ulvi. Well, that's a 3-way tie. That's many figures of the year. But look, all good choices. Valkyrie agrees. Artisan Black Widow is my figure of the year. Another person with excellent taste. We've got rounds of applause. Cousin Anthony, thank you for participating in my group project. My figure of the year is for sure Hot Toys Wolverine Deluxe. I think it is for a lot of people. I think the challenge with figure of the year vote is the wider the release plus production number, the more votes there will be available. I guarantee that Hot Toys made more Wolverine DXs than Artisan Black Widow. I've got no doubt that they did. 100% they would have. I can imagine that being quite a high production number. And Cousin Anthony agrees with you. And I think this is the hard thing as well. Like, I know for me, I'm not a collector who buys everything. And if I'm going to say something is figure of the year, I at least want to have seen it. And I was very mindful that I haven't seen in-art or J&D releases in person this year, which is why I thought I would cast my net a bit wider. I know John and Anthony and Bob have all bought in-art figures. I know Anthony and Bob have J&D Joker. So I kind of thought rather than presenting my very limited worldview, I would try to expand things out with some views of other YouTubers or people in the community that people would know. But yeah, I think as we're getting more companies, it is going to be hard to compare because you know, I'm thinking next year, like that J&D Two-Face. Like, I know it's dude in a suit, but that looks incredible. And do we then need to have tiers of it's the best one with rooted hair and it's the best one with silicone? I don't know. Like, it's going to be interesting to see this point next year, like what do figures look like? What is the collecting standard going to be? Because I feel like it wasn't that long ago that we were all crying out for moving eyes, and now that is a stock standard thing that we get with every release. So we saw with the Iron Spider, the USB light up that plugs into the foot. Is that going to be a new thing that becomes a standard feature for Hot Toys figures? Like, I don't know. It is going to be so interesting, but I think all these factors do make it. And even like, I thought about mentioning this, but I don't think non-influencer people have it. Even the Inner Snape, like that figure to me looks incredible. And I feel like if we're talking a figure of the conversation, that's probably going to be one that I think potentially could suffer from maybe not a lot of people buy it, because the Harry Potter line, my understanding is, hasn't had huge numbers. But I do think that Snape figure has a great likeness to Alan Rickman. You've got the magnetic eyes. You've got amazing accessories that come with it. It's hard because I don't feel like we're always going to be able to compare apples with apples. And how do you mitigate that? Highland Figure says, I personally think the shirtless Wolverine looks better than the yellow suit. Look, I like both of them. I think with the TVA Wolverine, I think some people got too hyper fixated on the visible wrists, which didn't particularly bother me. But yeah, I think both of those Wolverine figures looked really good. Keith says that TVA Wolverine was the surprise figure of the year for him. That's fair enough. Cousin Anthony says, I agree with Keith Lee. About Hot Toys thinking Okoye won't sell. The other figures of coloured actors, that's sad. Okay, sorry. I misread the comments. I have neither, but I'd choose shirtless Wolverine over the yellow suit. Fair enough. Got a few people chatting. To give the award ceremony next year is going to be really, really tough because those companies are getting so good, but the competition is good. I agree. I feel like we are kind of the winners in all this. Like, as much as I'm not a fan of people being very one-eyed and championing one figure company and just going, oh, the Hot Toys one is fine, but you just wait for InArt to make theirs. That will be better. You don't know that, sir or ma'am. But I do feel like having more players in the game, it's definitely pushing everyone along. So I do feel like we're the benefactors of that. And I am quite keen to see how things do evolve in the future. Do we see more magnetically adjustable eyes? Do we see more diorama display bases? Do we see better accessories? Do we see more silicone? Is the silicone more durable? Like, I know some people have made a point of trying to pose Bane to see how the arms go, and so far so good for them. So USB lighter, all that stuff. Like, I'm hoping that we see more of that evolution over time. And I think, we're seeing more and more improvements in the head sculpts and how accurate they look. So I definitely feel like we benefit from the competition, but I just would hope that people keep a bit more of an open mind and maybe don't be so blindly loyal to one company. If someone's released a figure that looks great, let them just say they've released a figure that looks great. You don't need to preface it with, oh, but when G&D or InArt makes theirs, it will be better. Like, look at John Wick Chapter 1. That J&D one is not better than the Hot Toys one. I think you can't hand on heart say that one company will always be better than another. I think we've seen this year that, as much as some people, I think, are questioning Hot Toys, I do think they produced so many great figures this year. So, yeah, I'm kind of just happy that we have so much choice. And if a character's good and it's something I want, and it doesn't cost $84 million, I'm very much open to buying it. Austin says, we're living in an incredible time as collectors. They're making our dreams come true. I love it. 100%. I think that's an amazing sentiment. And maybe that's the sentiment that will end this stream on, because that was my last slide. I'll solo myself. Here I am. Hello. It's Saturday morning. But yeah, as I said, I think that's a really lovely sentiment. Hang on. What does Mike say here? We're the benefactors of the quality, but not so much with the increased price. That's so true. It's tough because I have no problem pricing something higher than it deserves. It just makes continuing to collect hard. Yeah, it's interesting. I've actually been thinking about collecting and the way I collect and some changes I want to make. And I was actually thinking of doing that as a little bit of a video. I don't know if people would be interested in that, sort of like a rules for collecting in 2026 and some of the things that I'm going to look at adopting myself. So I may do that. I have actually been working on a bit of a video, which I'm hoping will be out on Sunday. It's another one of my sort of views on collecting, I'll call it, which I haven't done a video like that for a little while. I did my old but gold figures, but I haven't done as many sort of views of collecting or collecting advice videos this year. So I'm quite excited by this one. So I'm aiming to have it out by Sunday. I did quite a bit of it today, which is awesome. But guys, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me on this Friday. It was Boxing Day when I started, not anymore. If you've got more time on work, I hope you have a really safe and enjoyable break. I'm off work till the 5th of January, which I'm super hyped about. So I will be back next week. And I'm not sure what Howard will give us between now and then, but we'll definitely talk about the in-art Terminator. Don't worry, we'll talk about that. And I might do a bit of a showcase of what I've got on pre-order, because I think it's always fun to kind of have a look at what might be coming into my collection this year. And if you're watching on the replay, do let me know what you think about Figure of the Year or some of the different categories that I had. I always like hearing from my regulars who watch on the replay, like Cardia watches on the replay, Kareem, Kevin. I've got so many people that watch the replay, and I do appreciate that. And make sure you do chime in. Thanks, Keith. 2.5 hours for Helen. Great way to end 2025. Helen, get some sleep. Have a great rest of the weekend, week and year. Incredible consistency for 2025 and showing up 99% of the time on Fridays. Hugs. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it. I have tried to keep Fridays alive, and I don't know that I was quite at 99.9. I did have a couple of weeks off here and there, but I'm trying my best to be at that strike rate. And I appreciate you. You're another regular that comes along all the time. I can't do this stream without people participating. So thank you for coming along for the ride. Have a happy new year, everyone. Absolutely, guys. Happy new year. I hope 2026 is awesome for all of us. Be safe, be happy, be merry. And I'll see you back here next Friday for this stream. Doesn't really have a name, but I'll see you then. Bye.